This morning I wanted to go through a little bit of a more or less trivial example of using WriteBarriers. And first I should probably explain what WriteBarriers are. To do that, let's go to the Parcel Manager. And bringing that into the view, we'll scroll down to Other Libraries. Down here at the bottom, in the W's, there's WriteBarriers. The comment here tells you pretty much what this does. You can create a tracker object that will go ahead and track changes to some object you care about or some set of objects you care about, and is able to take actions when modifications are made to that object. This can be useful if you want automatic storage in some database, some data storage system, maybe a flat file that you're archiving objects to, what have you. You can make these changes and have the system track them for you. So to take a look at how that works, let's go ahead and I'll bring something into the view. I've created a class called Person. It's just got two instance variables, name and phone. And I've created a subclass of the class Tracker. Now if you look here in the hierarchy, you'll find as you create Tracker, gives you a good example here of what you need to do, and it tells you you have to implement private track, private untrack, and is tracking. And those are the methods you use to figure out whether your object is being tracked and what to do when changes are made to it. If you want to actually track the changes and do something, you need to override this method and go ahead and do something valuable there. Let me show you what I did in my class here. So this is a fairly simple example. Here an API is tracking. I've got an instance variable called objects. It's an identity set. So every time I start tracking an object, I toss it into my set. And whenever I get the is tracking message sent to me, I ask, is this object in that set? If it is, then it's true. And then the other two methods I had to modify, private track, I just do objects add an object, and that's my customization. I threw some stuff in transcript so you can see things happen. And private untrack, again, remove from my collection and no longer tracking to the transcript. And finally, this modified selector index method down here, I ask if I'm tracking the object. If I'm not, then I go ahead and don't do anything. If I am tracking it, I toss a message to transcript and then apply the modification. This is actually the inherited version of the code other than this piece here. What you would do here is, or actually more likely down here after you've applied the modification, is you would put code to store the object out in a file, in a database, what have you. So this is the point where you get to take actions upon modifications. So you could mark an object dirty so that later on your database framework could go ahead and store it, whatever it is you need to do. So let's see how that works in action. I'm going to create a person. I'm going to create a tracker. I'm going to start tracking it. So let's go ahead and do those three things. And you see up here I say, well, I'm tracking that person object. Now I'm going to apply a change to it by changing the phone number. And you see it says modifying the person, slot 2 of the instance variables with this new value. So it noticed that things were changing, and in this case the change tracking is just a matter of putting it into the collection and tossing out a message to the transcript. And then finally what I'll do is I'll untrack it down here. Do that, do it, and now it's all gone, no longer tracking it. And that's really all there is to adding a tracker using WriteBarriers. All you need to do in your own code, if you want to actually take advantage of this kind of technology, is come in here to this method, create your own version of it in your tracker subclass, and do whatever is appropriate right here in this method. So that's about it for today. Until next time, have fun with Smalltalk.